Hi everyone, and welcome to this Tuesday review of ISCO. I've got Shakura with me. She's going to just turn her webcam off in a minute. She's going to say hi to you, to all. She's going to be monitoring the chat today. And we've got, yes, an hour for you reviewing Friday of ISCO. And what an amazing 3 days we had over the weekend. We had so much fun. And what we've done is, you might think we finished on Sunday. We were all pretty tired, as you can imagine, but the team got straight onto it on Monday, and we've done lots of video editing. We've uploaded stuff onto the internet, and I'm going to show you around some of the stuff in the next hour. Okay, so just say hi in the chat. It's lovely to have so many of you taking part. Okay, so yes, it's the International Shiatsu Congress Online. It took place October 9th, 10th and 11th, as I'm sure you're aware. What we're going to do in the next hour is going to give you an overview, a little bit of background to ISCO 2020. We're going to review all the presenters on the Friday, and we're going to show you some little clips of their presentations. Now, this is going to be a surprise to me because literally Kat has been editing all day yesterday and today, and she just uploaded the last clip about 2 minutes before I went on to this webinar. So I haven't seen them yet, but I'm really looking forward to looking at some of the highlights from some of the presentations. We're going to tell you a little bit about the team roles and what we're doing right now to keep the whole ISCO vibe going, because really this is just a start. We've got hours of recordings, and we're going to set them up so that you can catch up in case you missed anything over the weekend. So we're going to show you how you can access those recordings, and then there'll be time for question and answer. Okay, so just a little bit of background to ISCO 2020. Back in 2000, which is like 20 years ago, we set up a thing called Shiatsu Center, which had very similar aims to ISCO at the time. And in fact, in 2012, we actually ran the first ISCO with a whole load of different presenters. Okay, and fast forward 20 years, and we've got ISCO 2020. We had 780 registrations for the live event over the 3 days. And many of you came and went during the weekend, which is absolutely fine, of course, knowing that you can check into the recordings later on. Also, as a result of ISCO, our membership has increased now to 2,100 Shiatsu practitioners worldwide. And all those 2,100 practitioners have got access now, free access to the online version of ISCO, which we are constructing as we speak. And of course, as you probably know, it's all completely free access, and we are funded entirely by our wonderful donators. Okay, so let's get straight on and go into the Friday review. Okay, well, I had a terrific day on Friday. But first of all, I'd just like to find out how many of you actually were there on the Friday. Did you attend live? So let's just launch that poll. Yeah, how many presentations did you attend live on Friday? So you may have not been to any of them, that's fine. You might have been to one maybe, or two or three or four or five, and maybe some of you actually attended all 6 of those presentations. So let's see how you did. Okay, well, it seems like just under half of you missed the Friday, which is probably why you're here now, isn't it? And as for everyone who was there for all the sessions, it's great to have you back. We're just going to review some of the little highlights, and what we're going to do is show you how you can access those recordings. Okay, so look at that. 80% of you, no, let's see, 60% of you attended at least one presentation. So that's great. And I'm sure you had as much fun as we did on that day. Okay, so first up was Galit Shaviv. She likes to be called Galu to her friends, and we count ourselves as her friends now after her presentation. She's actually been doing Shiatsu since 1993, so she's pretty experienced. She's an international teacher. She teaches in Israel and Finland, and it was great to see a lot of people from Finland taking part on her presentation and checking out and saying hi in the chat. That was really, really good fun. Now, she's actually a specialist on women's health, pregnancy and labour, but she decided to do a presentation for ISCO on how we can look after our energy. And it was an extremely thorough and in-depth presentation. It was a great start to the whole Congress, and we loved it. Okay, and here's a little clip. If you were there, you'll recognize her style. She did a demonstration. What she did was she themed energy management for therapists around how we can keep ourselves vital and healthy in our work. And I don't know how you're feeling, but I was talking to Shakura earlier. I've been seeing clients, obviously here and obviously online as well. And it's really a case now where we're having to deal with quite a lot of stress in our clients. So it's very, very important that we look after ourselves. And Galu had it down. She definitely had it down. She went through the whole theory and practice of how to look after her own energy. And she did a really great practical session, including giving me a tutorial, which was kind of like the highlight of the day for me, because it's very rare that I get a tutorial like that. So let's just see if we can have a little preview of her presentation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. This is just a 2-minute video that Kat produced today. As I say, I haven't seen it yet. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to ISCO 2020. We're so happy that we're actually starting the whole Congress off. I'm very happy to have Galit with us to start the whole thing off.
We're going to discuss about shiatsu as connecting all fields of expression, meaning that when we treat shiatsu, the mental body is reflected, the emotional body is reflected, the physical body, of course, and the energetical body. And we're going to see that all the bodies of expressions are connected and affected. I do it with this, you know, my kidney is always open. So I work like this, and in that way, when I'm working, I always imagine the energy going through the kidney meridian to kidney 1.
Why do you think it's so important for us?
Oh, so we will open with energy management for therapists, and my original topic was different, was pregnancy, and I wanted to change it because as I see things, we really need to, or we want to resonate well-being and abundance and connection inwards to ourselves in order to resonate it to the rest of the world. You know, that's overlapping in like 20%, as you noticed.
Okay, what's that overlapping? Going too far?
Yeah, that's it. This is where you have to stop. Yeah, because that's where you will feel much more connected to your center and to your kidney meridian.
Okay, great. Okay.
Okay, so let's do it from
Let's try it again.
Okay, that's
About
it,
there.
and back.
If I go further,
yeah,
I'm overextending it. Yeah.
So it means that the movement will always be reversible. It will always bounce. It will be energetic and not stuck. Stuck. You know, the elbows are not stuck. This is beautiful.
It's very interesting because Pauline Sasaki taught a technique very similar to that, where we open up the peripheral vision. We keep the alignment, but we open the peripheral vision. That has the same effect of expanding the awareness, you know.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I wish everybody a really good time and an enriching time, and
it's lovely.
Keep well and healthy.
Thank you so much. Don't you just love her? We had so much fun. It was so much fun. Yeah, so I'll go back to my slides now, and we'll move on to the next presenter. Okay, so that was Galit's session. Beautiful bit of editing, Kat. Well done. That was really good work. And you see, she straightened my technique out really well. It was a delight to work with her. Okay, so next up, we had Dr. Dan Keown. Now, if you haven't met Dan before, he's such an interesting guy. He's also a really lovely guy to get on with and such a great guy to talk to as well. He's so interesting. He's actually trained as an emergency medical doctor and acupuncturist. And actually what it was is, I think it was his auntie or something was an acupuncturist. And so he became a doctor first, and then he got interested in acupuncture, and he studied, I think, at Reading. I might be wrong, but I think it was Reading Acupuncture School. But then he went to China and started an apprentice kind of thing with a master, Chinese master. And that's where he got this idea of the meridians, or the channels, being the spaces within the body. And he started to map the facial planes with the acupuncture channels. And he's written a couple of books. One of them is the best-selling Spark in the Machine, which is so readable. It's really good fun. It's the sort of book you want to recommend to any of your relations or friends who are maybe a bit interested in Chinese medicine. They'll really enjoy it. It's the best-selling acupuncture book on Amazon. So it's a best-selling book. And so what Dan's done, I think, is really interesting. He's accepted the wisdom of Chinese medicine, but from his medical background, he can see how much Western medicine needs the acupuncture. So rather than apologizing for acupuncture and Chinese medicine, he's like, no, this is so much deeper and it can enrich Western medicine so much. So it's really interesting to talk to him. Now, when he came on, he actually did a presentation on hydroxychloroquine, which is similar to quinine, and it's a drug, although he claims it's more like a food supplement in a way. It comes from bark, but he used that presentation as a very wide-ranging discussion about politics and medicine, how to deal with viral infections. He also went into a fascinating account of the idea of autoimmune diseases and how really they should be called cryptoimmune diseases, because his view on them is that actually autoimmune diseases are not the immune system attacking the body. They're actually viruses that have gone deeper into the body and are causing problems. And it certainly resonated with me because I've always had a bit of a funny attitude to autoimmune disease. I thought, really? Is it really true that the body's fighting itself? It seems a bit far-fetched. And the whole pathogens going deeper into the body seems to be much more credible, really. So it was an amazing hour. Again, Dan, no slides really. He just talked to camera and he had us all completely spellbound. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Kat has, what she's edited out of that session. So what I'll do is I'll load up Dan's video and we can enjoy Kat's edit.
This was basically what enabled the British Empire to rise, because
yes,
they realized that quinine cured malaria. They managed to extract this, and then the British could go to India and effectively sit there drinking gin and tonics, because the quinine's the thing they put into tonic water. It used to have 4 times as much quinine as it does now, and they'd be effectively immune from malaria. And obviously that was an enormous advantage if you live somewhere.
Definitely. And I do like a gin and tonic myself, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's
an excellent drink.
It's a great drink. Yeah.
Cool.
To go back to the hydroxychloroquine, it was this guy, Professor Didier Raoult. He was the chap who basically he was the world's leading expert on infectious diseases, and said because of SARS and MERS, he knew that these were susceptible to hydroxychloroquine, which a lot of people know is a drug that's used for so-called autoimmune diseases. And so he immediately did this very early study in March, showed that it worked, showed that it basically cured the coronavirus. And then that's when very powerful forces, including practically the entire upper levels of the medical establishment, the WHO, Professor Whitty in this country, and in the US, Dr. Fauci, and also people like Bill Gates, suddenly turned around and said hydroxychloroquine is dangerous and doesn't work, which should set enormous alarm bells ringing off in every single doctor in the world, because hydroxychloroquine is literally the safest drug in the world. You've got more chance of being killed by Hillary Clinton than you have of being killed by hydroxychloroquine. There's been less than 20 deaths ever attributed to hydroxychloroquine in the history of hydroxychloroquine. And this is hundreds of millions of doses of this stuff given out. It's so safe that it should really be considered a food supplement, which is what it was.
But I noticed that you called, the thing that really struck me was when you said so-called autoimmune diseases, because I must say that as sort of working within shiatsu and working within the TCM model and everything, it's always been about a puzzle to me, like what exactly is this whole autoimmune disease thing? It just seems so unlikely to me that suddenly the body would suddenly attack itself for apparently no reason, you know? They love that.
What the hell does this even mean, releasing the exterior? We're like, doesn't really make much sense to me. And I was speaking to Charlie Buck just before COVID, actually, and he was saying, well, actually, the character isn't released. The character is drawn as a knot that's being unknotted.
Right.
Yeah? It's a tangle that's being unknotted. That's what releasing is. It's not releasing, it's unknotting. And I'm like, this makes perfect sense. How many people are ill enough to go to their doctor? How many people are being hospitalized? How many people are dying? The answer to all of those is effectively as close to zero as you can get. Pandemic's over and second waves don't happen.
Okay, we need to finish on that very optimistic note, Dan. It's been a great pleasure. I knew it would be provoking and interesting, and it's great talking to you. It's always good to catch up with you, and really wish you all the best. It was a very lively discussion and really worth checking out. In fact, he's also made a video as well. Dan's made a video which we'll link to on the online site, which I'll tell you about later on. Okay, so that's our friend Dr. Daniel Keown. Had a lot of fun with him on a residential a few years ago where we worked on each other, found out a lot about each other's work. Really interesting stuff. Okay, so then next up, before lunch, was Nicola. She's a very old friend of mine because Nicola and I and Carola and Paul Lundberg and Elise Johnson formed the Shiatsu College in 1986. That's the Shiatsu College UK. She studied in Japan before then, and she also studied extensively with Pauline Sasaki, especially towards the later years of Pauline Sasaki's work. She's also quite an amazing visual artist. She's actually got a degree in visual art, and she's probably most well known at the moment as a Qigong teacher, and she's doing quite a lot of Qigong teaching online. And for a bit of contrast to Dan's talk, which was all kind of just like a big discussion, Nicola did a completely practical session, and here's a screenshot from her video. From her sitting room, you can see it's a lovely sort of purple hue to it. And what she did was she took us through, and I really enjoyed the session. I did the whole exercise thing with her and with everyone. And she used it as a way to get in touch with not only the meridians, but the central channel and the dantian. It was a really nice 1 hour Qigong session. And so, Nicola Ley, great friend of New Energy Work and ISCO. So why don't we check out the video that that Kat just edited, and we'll see a little kind of taste of what Nicola got up to on ISCO 2020. And I'm really happy because Nicola's going to do a completely practical session. We're going to be doing Qigong for the next hour, and I really could do with it myself, exploring the meridians, the central channels, and the dantians.
The game is to tune into the chi field. So right now, tune into your physical body. So maybe just rub your skin, brush off your face, see what you can feel. Brush off your face, see what you can feel. Take a deep breath, have a stretch and
do whatever feels good for your body.
Do whatever feels good for your body. Start to feel your feet on the floor.
Feel your spiritual
feet
world.
on the earth.
Feel empowered.
Feel your
Keep
spiritual
feet on the
world.
ground.
Feel in power. Keep your feet on the ground. Okay, come back to just giving and receiving a hug. And see if you can feel dancing with an angel, dancing with the beloved, dancing with an angel, dancing with your beloved, dancing with your grand that you haven't seen all year. Whatever it is, get a sense of that. Giving and receiving a hug. Think of the things that you treasure. Think of the people and the things that you treasure. Letting go would be easy if you didn't laugh. But we need to laugh. It's the greatest thing. All of the heart stuff is a transition. It's always changing. I've been reading a lot about the three cauldrons that sort of match the Tanchen, the lower cauldron, the energy that we're born with. The middle cauldron is about turning of the emotions, fear to courage, courage to fear. That cauldron is always turning. Joy to sorrow, sorrow to joy. Beautiful. And a similar gesture, gather chi for the mind. Keep your shoulders really relaxed. Imagine the light coming into your mind wide like the sky. Temple of your Shen, all your Shens, temple of your spirit. Receive chi and let your diamond shine bright. Let your diamond shine.
Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely to see you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'll send you the phone.
So by the way, that won't be on the final video edit that we put up online. Okay, so that was Nicola. Just a few little taste of Nicola's presentation, and it was really, really wonderful, as you can see from just the little clips. Right, okay, here we go. After Nicola, we had Nick Pohl and Margot Rossi. And Nick we know very well because he's a graduate of the Shiatsu College. In fact, he was one of our very first graduates because he joined the Shiatsu College when we formed it in 1986. He's also world famous now with his work with Shiatsu and body work in general and clean language. And personally, it's really affected my practice. I've really learned a lot from Nick. And for ISCO 2020, he paired up with Margot Rossi, an acupuncturist and Daoyin expert, and they gave an amazing presentation. In fact, it gets the prize for the best rehearsed and most slick presentation on the whole of ISCO 2020. They obviously rehearsed it, and it was just wonderful. And the theme was listening like water. Okay, and here's a screenshot. If you were there, you'll almost certainly remember what happens next. If you haven't, you'll have to check it out. Either it might be on this edit coming up, or it might not be. You'll have to see the whole video on New Energy Work. Okay, so yes, basically they took this theme of listening like water. They went very deep into the characters, the Chinese characters of listening and sovereignty. And they took us on a journey really of really establishing our own center, our own sovereignty in listening to our clients. It was a very deep session, really enjoyable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clip that Kat put together for this review. I'm going to make sure I turn my mic off as well so we don't get any echo. Okay, here we go. Slides. Look, here we have Margot and Nick. So pleased to have you on the Congress. It's a real pleasure. I've known Nick for many years, as I mentioned on last Tuesday. Nick was our very first graduate at the Shiatsu College, and I've learned a lot from Nick over the years. I use clean language all the time.
Yes, clean language is my thing. How does language connect with ki, and how does that help us in in mind-body work. So it's my pleasure to introduce my acupuncturist colleague, who knows a lot more about Chinese medicine than I do. Margot Rossi, originally from New York City, but now based in the mountains of North Carolina. So we'll be exploring this notion of sovereignty in Chinese medicine, what it's like for each of us. And we'll be doing that in the only way you really can, which is through an embodied exercise.
I live in the mountains of North Carolina, and I live near a lot of water. So I was wanting to invite you to come with me, hike up the mountain. We're going to come to a mountain spring. And if you would, we're just going to imagine what it's like to be that water that's bubbling up from the ground. From here, it effortlessly carves its way through the terrain. So it moves through the landscape just by its own nature, without really contending with anything. When it meets an obstacle along its path, it either moves around or underneath it. And in this way, it's very yielding water. So eventually, as we move and the water grows and merges with other bodies of water, we might come to a waterfall. Super, lovely.
All right, you've got even less people know what Darien is compared to clean language. So we are, Nick, you've been doing a good job with your book.
Yay!
Margot's book will be out next year.
It's coming. Well, for those of you who are not at all familiar, have no worries.
It reminds me that the R word in English for touch comes from the Latin root toccare, or Italian, originally meaning to sound a bell, the toccare of a bell. It's like that meditation bell. Through touch, we begin to feel the resonances of the sound. And this idea of listening is also kind of about ding, something about a bell, a resonance. I love that.
So the practice we're going to do, I'm calling the butterfly emerges, because it mimics kind of the work a butterfly does as it's coming out of its chrysalis. This practice activates the spine, and it opens the front and the back of the heart center.
And I would just like to say that you have totally modeled what you've been talking about the whole time. You're so chilled out and cool together, and totally in your sovereign selves. You know, it was just obvious. I think everyone in the chat will agree with that. So how about that? Wasn't that just a love? That was just a little taste of their presentation. You can see what I mean. It was so well rehearsed. They were so modeling what they were doing. It was an absolute delight. And you can see that I've made the most of it by doing the practical exercises. And if you watch the full video, you'll really learn a lot about the subject, and you'll get a chance to do the whole exercise. I found it really, really practically very, very interesting. So yeah, that was Nick Pohl and Margot Rossi, and Kat's edit didn't include that video there of George Bush and Angela Merkel. So you're going to have to watch, if you weren't there on Friday, you'll have to watch the full video on newenergywork.com to find out what happened. It was a very, very interesting illustration of what they were talking about. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Okay, cool. So after that, we had Alan Nash, and again, another really big contrast, because Alan decided not to do any presentation in terms of slides or any material. He decided to just do practical work. And so what he did was he basically did some Boshin and did some distance healing work on camera live with a couple of models. Okay. Now Alan Nash, you may or may not know him. He's actually English, and he's working in the Netherlands now. He's formed the Dutch School of Classical Shiatsu in 1987, and he's actually been doing healing work since 1972. So he's been doing it a long time. And he's actually moved to the Netherlands and started doing Shiatsu and Doin when he was actually in the Netherlands, and then started the school. So he's had some very interesting teachers. And what I'd like to do now is just show you a clip that Kat put together. She literally just put that together today, of him doing, me talking to him, and also him doing a little bit of practical work for us. Working from his dojo. You can see he's actually in his dojo. It looks like a nice sunny day over there. I'm a bit jealous, really. Great to see you, by the way. So thank you so much for taking part. And I think it was about 10 years ago, wasn't it, that we were in France together with Wilfred?
2000. Well, it was 2009.
2009.
In the south.
Yes, that's right. That was the first time I met you.
Was that the first time? Oh, that was when we had the big karate dojo, and you were doing ki on one end of the big dojo, and I was bagging people on the back with ki eyes at the other end of the dojo.
That's the one. Unforgettable. I would just see if we can get up. Yes, here she is. Hooray! It worked. Brilliant. I'll get out of the way. And yeah.
See him later. Hello, Sabina.
Hi.
I'm Alan. Finally, we've got all our little technical difficulties out the way. We're online. Are you a shiatsu therapist?
Well, basically not, although I did 4 years education 10 years ago.
I did have a question from someone. They were interested to know who was your main teacher, your first influence?
I found out from a few people, and my wife found out as well, that somebody called Sasaki had been invited to Holland back in the day. That was almost at the beginning of our time, you know? Back in the days when Pauline Sasaki and your buddies and everybody was kind of rising. Thank you. All I can say, thank you very much.
It was really beautiful.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm really amazed by that story.
Okay.
Your dream.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah. We're running out of time, so unfortunately we had lots of people lined up, but they'll have to contact you directly and get some treatment.
Well, I guess so. I want to thank you also. Lovely. I'm so glad to be here. And this little time has caused a lot. And it's good to get to know you like this.
Okay, great. Well, wasn't that a contrasting session? That was so good to see him working, and he's such a genuine guy. He's really a great character. And as I say, when we had so much fun together in France, we even both remember the dinners. That was great. So there we are. You see, remember the dinners and the French Congress. So thank you, anyone from France watching. Thank you very much for that. The catering was absolutely superb. Okay, so you can see how many different types of presentations that we had. And that was Alan's presentation. There he is. I've got a picture of him. That's a picture of him demonstrating working on his foot to one of the people he was working with. So yeah, that was Alan. And after his session, we had even more fun with Alice Whieldon. Alice, again, another international teacher. She teaches Seiki. You may very well have studied with her. She studied with Kishi. In fact, she was very close to Kishi because she co-wrote the book Seiki, A Life in Resonance. And that book is very interesting because it gives a real insight into what was going on in Masunaga School back in the very early days when Kishi was a student there. So it's kind of really an interesting book from that point of view, just from the history of shiatsu. She's also written a book called Mind Clearing. She's just generally a very high-powered person, but very, very, very lovely with it. We really, really all love Alice, and she's taught here. She's given us private lessons in Seiki. And as I said on the Congress, Alice is the person who's made Seiki the most understandable for me. She's got a really good mind and she can really explain things really well. So this was quite a unique presentation because she actually, thanks to René Fix, by the way, in Heidelberg, thank you, big shout out to that guy because he did all the tech side of it. He actually put it together. And also thank you so much for that group that were actually having a workshop with Alice, because they were very generous. They let us in there and we had a whole hour within that group practicing Seiki and observing, practicing Gyoki and watching Alice work. It was really quite a privilege. to see, and it was another very, very enjoyable session. So let's see what Kat's got in store for us on her video edit. I'm just going to see if I can find it. Where is it? Alice's. Here it is. Yeah. Okay, let's check it out.
So, yes, live from Heidelberg. Welcome to our Seiki workshop. We've been working here for a couple of days now, or 2.5 days actually, so we're all warmed up. And I'd like to introduce René Fix, the owner of Key College, and we are at Key College. This is René, my colleague, and he's going to be, we're going to be working together to bring you some Seiki, to bring some Seiki into your lives.
I have to say, Alice, that you are the teacher that has allowed me to understand Seiki more than any other. It was always a complete mystery to me, but I have to say that it actually made some sense when you taught it to me. So that's...
Okay, thank you. And now, next in-breath, expand a little further. So you're just taking it to the edge of your comfortable expansion zone. It's a funny business. Anything can happen. And that's the point. Anything can happen. Anything can come up into this space. What would I call that? Something a little moving, but also a little bit holding. It's a little hard to put into words because that requires a certain amount of judgment, and judgment's not really possible from this observation. If we see ourselves as mirrors, then the cleaner we can be, the shinier we can be, the more use we are as practitioners.
I feel totally free when I'm touched like this. You kind of decide to be with me in this way, in this surrendered way, and this gives me a total freedom to explore myself.
And look, wasn't that a wonderful presentation from Alice with René's help there? I mean, it's been great for me. I've been taking part in all of the presentations, and I even got a free tutorial from Galit right there at the beginning of the day. That was just so awesome. I hope you enjoyed that. Some of you are already emailing in saying, how can we see the recordings? Well, we can explain that as we go along. If you just go to New Energy Work, we'll have that all linked up for you, and we will email you. Well, you've really been busy, hasn't she been busy? I mean, it's only like 2 days since that, and look at all that editing she's done. What a lovely little snapshot of Alice's session. Wow, I think she definitely, Kat definitely deserves a few hearts and a few thumbs up there in the chat for that. My goodness, she's been working hard. And literally the last video loaded up literally like 2 minutes before this webinar went live. It was all very, very close. Well done. That's absolutely brilliant. Okay, and that was the day. That was the end of the day. What a variety of presentations we had. A lot of practical work, and just a really interesting group of people, all doing very, very different things, which is what we wanted. Really, we wanted to have a nice variety. Okay, so now we can go on, and I'm going to explain how you can access ISCO 2020 online, because the live event may have finished on Sunday, but it's only really just started. We've got 3 weeks ahead of us of video editing, loading stuff up for you, and engaging you on the online resource. And I'm going to just launch some polls in a minute, find out what you're looking for with that. Okay, basically, if you're not familiar with New Energy Work, ISCO Online is basically an online course. It consists of video recordings. It has its quizzes, and it will have a forum as well where you can ask questions, and we're going to try and get some of the presenters to come on and answer some questions for you if we can persuade them to. If you need the CPD, or if you want the CPD CE credits, it will be a certified online course. So once you've completed the whole thing, you can actually get those credits for your ISCO presence. If you've seen the video okay already, then you can just go on, do the quiz just to show that you've taken in some of the information, and then you can get that credited to you. And if you haven't seen it, then of course you've got plenty of time to catch up with anything that you missed. It's all completely free, as you know, online. You may or may not know, all of New Energy Work paid content has been freely available since the beginning of COVID-19. Okay, and what we've done with these Tuesdays is we've given us just about enough time to get the videos sorted and up. And so what we're trying to do is release each of the days for a week afterwards, if you understand what I'm saying. So like this, today we're getting all of Friday's resources up. By next Tuesday, we'll have all of Saturdays. And then by the Tuesday after, which is the third Tuesday in this run of webinars, we will get all the resources up for the Sunday. So in a couple of weeks from now, we'll have it all there for you to enjoy and to engage with. That's the plan, okay? Okay, and what it looks like, if you're wondering, what does it look like? It looks like this. When you go into newenergywork.com, you sign in, you register for a free account, or you may already have an account. You sign in, and you'll get in there and you'll find the ISCO 2020 online course. And this is what it looks like so far. You can see we've already, or when I say we, the team have been working away, loading stuff up since the weekend. No rest for us so far yet. And we're extracting everything. And when you click on it, you'll see you've got access to all the slides. You've got the access to all the handouts, featured actions, links to the presenters, all the kind of things that you might have missed and you might want to catch up with. It's all going to be there, all in one place. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're working on that right now. Okay, so let's see if let's find out whether you're a member. You may have been one of our professional members or student members back before COVID, or you may have joined as a free member. But let's just see if you're already a member of New Energy Work. In other words, you have a login. Can I just check that and just see whether you all are? Okay, some of you are not sure. Okay, well, if you go to newenergywork.com and try and sign in, you'll soon find out. Just go to the top right-hand corner, it says sign in. And hopefully if you can't get in, you'll have to contact us and we'll help you out with your password. Okay, so yeah, about 50% of you are not sure. You maybe want to go and check that out. We can help you with that. But most of you, as I probably would have expected, are already members of New Energy Work. So that's really cool. Okay, I just want to say a little bit of a thank you now to the teams and give you an idea of the team roles that we had during the presentations. During the live event, you probably got some glimpses of what's going on behind the scenes, especially when we had people on their mobile phone, on camera. We had people trying to get their mics to work, and you probably saw me just kind of relaxing and chilling out. And the reason I could do that was because I had 4 amazing people working like mad behind me, texting, phoning, communicating with each other, WhatsApp message stream coming into all of us. Because those 4 people worked really hard right through the whole event to make sure that it went really smoothly. And we made it, you know, I mean, we had a few little minute technical glitches, but basically all of the presentations went, and we've got all full on all the recordings. So that's an amazing, amazing achievement. Shakura was the stage manager. She was the one making sure that presenters turned up on time. Would you like that job? No, I would not. And she did a great job. Very, very cool, very organized. Dinah, Kat and Basti continually there all the time in the background, looking after the chat, mopping up things, making sure that everything works. So a massive thank you to that wonderful group that I'm absolutely blessed to have them. I could just relax, and I thoroughly enjoyed the entire 3 days joining in. Of course, our roles have completely just changed now because we're all working as a team, and we've been all pretty much working solidly since the weekend. We're creating the online resource, we're creating quizzes, we're putting up the handouts, we're going to create the forum that's going to go live straight after this webinar. Kat, as you can see, is very busy editing all the videos and uploading them onto the online site. And then, of course, once we've completed it in 2 weeks' time, we've got everything up, then we'll load up the certificate and you can get your CPD or CE credit for that. So I just want to say thank you for the team, just to let you know that they're still working away for you. Okay, so I'm just wondering, like, do you think you will be logging on to the New Energy Work, the online resource that I've just described? Do you think you're going to log on to it? It's always nice to know that we're not wasting our time completely and that you are interested in getting access to this information. And so as long as there's a majority of you doing that, then we'll continue with the work. Okay, look at that. 97% of you are going or intending to, and some of you are not sure. Okay, well, if you need any help going on, then just email us. We'll help you out. Very easy. You log in and you can get free access to the entire recordings. Okay, and there will be support on the forums for you. So that's like, yeah, really encouraging. Okay, I'm sure everyone's going to be happy about that. Okay, the other thing is, I thought we would ask you is, are you interested in getting the CPD-CE credits from ISCO? Because I know that requirements vary in different countries. I know it's kind of difficult in a way to get CPD now because a lot of the workshops are limited. But maybe some of you don't need the CE credits, or you've got enough credits anyway, but let's just see. Okay, well, that's, again, very encouraging. We've got a nice majority of about 60% of you who are definitely interested in the CPD-CE credits. Okay, great. And there will be a certificate on your way as soon as you've completed the whole program, as it were. Fantastic. Okay, and those of you not sure, well, it's there for you whenever you want it. That would be great. Okay, so I just want to say a massive thank you to all the presenters, and I'm going to keep saying that over the next 2 weeks. I'm sure you can appreciate that they gave up a lot of their time and a lot of thought to creating the presentations for us. So that's really, really good. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to say thank you to all our donators. If you'd like to donate and help support ISCO, that would be absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to just, at the end of this webinar, I'm going to share a link for you if you would like to donate. Around 10% of the people that go on to our online resources actually donate. And we want to say a massive thank you to you. It literally is, wouldn't be possible without you. The platforms we use are very, very expensive. You can imagine we had 1,000 places available, 780 people registered. And the online platform that we contains a massive amount of information, and also it costs us every time someone registered. And now we've got 2,100 people registered. That's an expensive thing, and we need the help of our wonderful donators to make that possible. Okay, so have we got any questions at all? Otherwise, I think we can finish up. Let's have a look. I haven't got any questions marked as such so far. So I'll just nip into the chat and just see. Just wonder if there's any questions. Yeah. Okay, no questions. Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. I think maybe I've answered them all. If you need any more support, you can always go to our FAQs on newenergywork.com. We try and update them. We try and update them as quickly as we can. As soon as Shakura gets a blitz of emails all asking the same question, we put up the FAQs to take the workload off her. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Okay, that's just want to say thank you for your support. I'm going to just put out the donation link. We've got slides and handouts and all kinds of things to yeah, we've got all kinds of handouts and everything that you can use, that you can get from the online site. I'm going to have a little, just give me a moment to find the link for the donations, and I'll put that into the as a featured action. And then if you'd like to help us, that would be great. I know a lot of you like us are having a really hard time with coronavirus and everything, and so if it's not appropriate at the moment, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to add featured action. Here's the link. And I'll share that with you right now. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so if you haven't already donated and you'd like to help us out, every little bit helps. We've got different tiered donations, suggested donations, but you can add any amount, and every little bit will go to helping us on our mission, which is to provide linking up between shiatsu practitioners and teachers all over the world, and providing support free of charge at point of use for the community. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. And oh, we've got one question here. What does one need the credits for? Okay, the credits, the CPD credits, is if you're a member of a professional organization like the Shiatsu Society, for example, Shiatsu Society, you're required to do 15 hours of CPD a year. And if you did the ISCO and got the credits for that, that would be your 15 hours. You'd do it all in one thing. So that's that, answer that. Okay, great. So thank you for your support. See you next Tuesday, and we'll see some more video clips of Kat's edits of ISCO Saturday. And meanwhile, we'll get back to work. We'll open up the New Energy Work course so you can check out and say hi on the forum. Okay, thank you very much, and see you next Tuesday.